people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Well, good evening, everybody. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Yes, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Yes, yes, yes. Lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you all. Well, here we go, eh? Oh, it's 9 p.m. on a Friday night. My studio audience is up for it. Here's what's on this hour. Well, there's more protests this evening at migrant hotels after this.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal, both to Somani and to the Home Secretary, against the grant of the interim injunction.
A former Labour Party member and treasurer of the Society for Labour Lawyers, that judge, backed the Labour government over the Bell Hotel and...
There's only one rule with this cabinet, and that is that there's one rule for them and one rule for all of us.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself, Ange, because Angela Rayner has managed to swerve some tax and the Tories now want her investigated. Plus...
Let's make balloon animals, whoa! Try and follow along and guess what I'm making. We'll start with the nose. Oh, that's a long nose.
Anyone in here feeling particularly rich? Anyone got loads of money spare? Anyone? No. Well, just as well, then you're paying for illegal immigrants to learn how to play with balloon animals.
This month, Donald Trump will come to the UK for a state banquet. I've been invited. My wife and I won't be going.
Do you know this man?
No.
Yep, nobody does. The anonymous man, Ed Davey, boycotts President Trump.
But two, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here. It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed.
Yeah.
Here's the hotel.
So Rylan says just a totally normal thing, and now the left wants to cancel him. Plus...
a source of tax revenue working people pay, their income tax. Haven't increased taxes.
And ending the tax break. £1 billion of unfunded tax cuts. And so the tax break for...
If you can see it, Labour will tax it. Absolutely. They're going to tax the air you breathe. On my panel tonight, we have got former Tory MP Jane Stevenson. We've got broadcasting royalty Christo Fufas. We've got senior political correspondent at the Daily Express, Christian Cowgie. And the Labour MP, Barry Gardner. Mix, I've heard worse. I've heard worse, absolutely. Well, get ready, Britain. Here we go. I'd like to report a missing person. Yvette Cooper. Next.
Good evening. The top stories. A temporary injunction that was set to block asylum seekers from being housed at an Essex hotel has been overturned at the Court of Appeal. Samani Hotels, which owns the Bell Hotel in Epping, and the Home Office challenged a High Court ruling that would have stopped 138 asylum seekers from being housed there beyond September the 12th. In a ruling last week, Mr Justice Eyre granted Epping Forest District Council an interim injunction after the authority claimed that Samani Hotels had breached planning rules by using the Bell as accommodation for asylum seekers. After a hearing yesterday, 3 Court of Appeal judges ruled in favour of Samani Hotels and the Home Office today, stating that Mr Justice Eyre's ruling was seriously flawed in principle. The ruling comes as a relief to the Home Office, which had been braced for further legal challenges from other councils over the use of hotels in their areas. Kemi Badenoch claims Sir Keir Starmer puts the rights of illegal immigrants above the rights of British people who just want to feel safe in their towns and communities. Border Security and Asylum Minister Dame Angela Eagle said the Home Office launched this appeal so hotels could be exited in a controlled and orderly way.
Well, nobody wants to close the Bell Hotel and all other asylum hotels more than me, and we have pledged that we are going to do that by the end of the Parliament. Today's judgment allows us to do it in a planned and managed way so that we can get the system running and make sure that we can exit hotels for once and for all.
Conservatives have called for an investigation into Angela Rayner as serious questions grow over her tax and housing affairs. In a letter from Kevin Hollinray, Conservative Party chairman, the Conservatives have asked Sir Laurie Magnus, the independent advisor on ministerial standards, to open an investigation into Rayner for potential breaches of the ministerial code. Angela Rayner has reportedly saved £40,000 in stamp duty on her new seaside flat after telling tax authorities it was her main home. The Telegraph newspaper say the Deputy Prime Minister is understood to have removed her name from the deeds of her house in Greater Manchester a few weeks before buying an £800,000 seaside flat in Hove. These changes would enable Ms Rayner to avoid paying £70,000 in stamp duty, which would have been applicable if Hove was her second home. Instead, she's thought to have paid £30,000 in stamp duty. A spokesperson for Angela Rayner said she paid the correct duty owed in the purchase entirely properly and in line with all relevant requirements. Any suggestion otherwise is entirely without basis. All young children in England and Wales will be offered a free chickenpox vaccine on the NHS from January of next year. It'll be given as 2 doses at 12 and 18 months of age, combined with the existing MMR jab, which protects against measles, mumps and rubella. A secondary catch-up campaign's planned for slightly older children so they don't miss out. And US President Donald Trump has revoked Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. Ms Harris, as a former vice president, received 6 months of protection after leaving office, according to federal law. But her protection had been extended for an additional year via a private directive signed by then-President Joe Biden shortly before leaving office. Now, this removal of her Secret Service protection comes as she's about to embark on her book tour. Those are the latest headlines for now. More from me in an hour.
You can now watch GB News live across the United States of America and the world on Truth Plus. Scan the QR code to find out more or visit gbnews.com/truth.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you again to our wonderful live studio audience. It's a full house here tonight, and it is a huge, huge news day. The Home Secretary is in hiding tonight. She's hiding from the British people. Today, we had this ruling about the Bell Hotel in Epping.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal both to Samani and to the Home Secretary against the grant of the interim injunction.
And where is the Home Secretary? Yeah, absolutely. We haven't heard from her. Where has she gone? Look, Yvette, if you're out there, please come home. Whatever you've done, whatever you're scared of, it's all OK. We just want to know you're safe and well, Yvette. If anyone's seen Yvette, if anyone's seen her, please get in touch. She was last seen interrailing around continental Europe with her husband, Ed Balls. Hey, look, I wonder if it's because he's the only bloke she'll let interview her.
Can I ask, because we've talked about this a few times, in the last few days, like many of our viewers will have done at home. What can be done, what should be done now by the social media companies and the police and the government to stop this happening? Because it's been happening for a week.
Well, you're right, Ed, that we have seen these things that are appearing online that are clearly criminal.
Well done, Ed. You asked the same question we rehearsed over breakfast this morning. Brilliant, yeah, bingo. Well, in her absence, we've had the pleasure of being served up Angela Eagle, who announced this utter guff.
Well, nobody wants to close the Bell Hotel and all other asylum hotels more than me, and we have pledged that we are going to do that by the end of the Parliament. Today's judgment allows us to do it in a planned and managed way.
Hey, look, call me a cynic, but I think that maybe there's a room full of people here who do want to close the migrant hotels a bit more than her. So, you know. But today's court ruling was this Labour government, in my view, against the people. It was the rights of illegal immigrants over the rights of British nationals. Never before has a government been so despised as this one, I think. In fact, Cooper knows it, and I think she's hiding from you. It's pathetic, it's weak. I don't think she's fit for office. But before we get the views of the audience and the panel, I want to go straight to the Bell Hotel in Epping now, where our national reporter Jack Carson is. Jack, thank you very, very much for joining us. OK, what's it like where you are? What's the mood?
Well, let's bring you a picture, Patrick, of what's happening here currently at the Bell Hotel in Epping. As you can see, we're now behind a set of barriers. These have been put up in the last, I'd say, 2 hours or so. This is ahead of planned protests here on Sunday. If we go across the road here, you can see the police presence currently that is in place. A couple of police vans and officers watching on these protests. Currently, the police have just put in a Section 14 notice of the Public Order Act saying that the crowds here must be dispersed by 9:30, and we apologise for any language you might be able to hear in the background with that man on the megaphone. But as you can see here, there's a few flags, and we're joined now by Liz Stevens. Liz, you've been protesting out here all evening. What was your reaction to the ruling today overturning that temporary injunction?
It's just a foregone conclusion, isn't it? It was going to happen.
And you've decided to be out here protesting this evening. Why do you feel so strongly about this? Why have you wanted to come out here and protest?
Because, quite frankly, the migrants shouldn't be in there. They should be put into... The government should have had proper detention centres or ex-military bases where they should have gone, and they should have been fenced in while they're processed. They shouldn't be in amongst the local community.
Now, Dame Angela Eagle, after the ruling was given today, said that they want, by the end of this Parliament, to close all of the current asylum hotels, that they want to do it in an orderly way. Is that the right way to go about things? That's what the government would say.
They shouldn't have opened them in the first place. They should have made a proper place for them, not within communities. They knew the boats are coming over. They know the situation with them. They know that they're unchecked. And quite frankly, there should have been a safe, secure place to put them, not in the lap of luxury in hotels within communities.
How do you feel at the end of the day now, reflecting on that ruling earlier?
We'll just keep going. We'll just keep protesting, I guess. It was a foregone conclusion. It's just nobody's surprised. Everybody expected it. It's a bit like the old boys' network, isn't it? Really.
Liz Stevens, thanks so much for joining us and giving us those views as an Epping resident. As I was saying, Patrick, just to reflect, the Section 14 notice of the Public Order Act has now been brought into place, meaning they have to stay behind these barriers which have been put in this evening, and how they have to disperse these crowds here by 9:30 tonight.
Oh, wow, OK, so those crowds have to be dispersed in 15 minutes, otherwise presumably they get arrested. Yeah. We might check back in with Jack Carson in about 15 minutes, I think, if that's the case. Jack, thank you very much. Make sure you take care over there. Right, OK, so look, I've given you my views. We've got the scene there from the Bell Hotel in Epping. I would like the views of my panel. Christian, does Yvette Cooper have to go, do you think?
Well,
She won't, because she's representing government policy. I mean, this is like where the Reeve should go. She is Keir Starmer's representative in the Home Office, and if she goes, he goes. I'm actually very happy that the Home Office fought this appeal, because I think it is always very helpful to the cause to have the government admit on record in court that British citizens are a lower class citizen than illegal migrants. That only helps the fight, and it's useful to get that admission. The other point I'd make is, as much as we can all hate migrant hotels, under this government, whether the illegal migrants are in hotels is not really the issue. The alternative isn't between hotels and deportation, it's between hotels and putting them in homes of multiple occupancy in your streets. And in that circumstance, actually, maybe I'd rather have them in hotels where they're slightly easier to keep a grip of and police, even though we don't. Obviously, we want them out, but for now, the fight continues.
Christys, what does it say about the Home Secretary that she's not decided to grace us with her presence over this issue? It's a huge issue. It's the biggest issue for the country. She hasn't even tweeted since...
Patrick, what? She's interrailing, for goodness sake. You know, it's funny that when I think about the Bell Hotel, because I listen to those judges' comments, and I think, Bell, ending this would be really, really important if we could. Now, I'm so staggered with this government, because they're so thick. I'm sorry, they're so stupid, because they really, I mean, being absolutely serious now, the optics of this look so bad, and they have like zero idea of how this looks to people, of the fact that if you're an Epping resident and you're upset or worried about this, they have basically said your opinion is worthless and that migrants are ahead of you. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. It's like they're winning, they've won, but have they won the war here? And I don't think they have, and they won't win the war of public opinion on this.
Right, well, why is Yvette Cooper hiding from the public?
Well, look, I don't think she is, but let's just take this in terms of the Court of Appeal judgment. It found that the lower court had misdirected itself on planning law. But it's not rubbish, because it's actually what the court said in its judgment, OK? It had misdirected itself. In fact, they said the judge's approach was seriously flawed. And there are two counts on planning law. One was the delay that the council had made in actually coming to a planning decision, which left the hotel in that position, even though for 18 months there had been people in there from the migrant community. So they also made it very clear that Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights was not pursued in oral argument, contrary to what Christian said. And to make it doubly clear, the court actually stated any argument in this particular context about a hierarchy of rights is, in our view, unattractive.
Yeah, of course it's unattractive. Of course it's unattractive to the politicians and the judges.
Sorry, and that is therefore not the basis on which they took the decision. But let's talk about the substantive issues around the hotel, OK? Yeah. One of the things I've learnt in politics is that when somebody offers you a simple solution, like close down the hotel, it's rarely that simple, and Christian agreed with that. You have to ask what happens next. Where do all the people go? Where are the detention centres that you're proposing to use? Which community is going to open their arms to them?
OK.
But hang on.
Well, we spoke for a little while. I want to bring Jane in, because we're pressed for time.
Well, I'm sure that we'll be talking about this for quite a long time. But the point is, it's not just good enough to cart from the sidelines. We saw what happens when you announce a simplistic policy earlier this week, when Farage said he was going to send 600,000 people back. And 24 hours later, he had to eat his words because he couldn't.
All right, let's bring Jane in.
The fact is, sometimes in politics, you are snookered, and I'm afraid the Home Office has been snookered by this. Had the judgment been upheld, then loads of other authorities would have done the same thing. The judge did speak about rewarding the protests, which he was very worried about. that is true, because if you protest enough outside your migrant hotel, it will close. And I think the judge wanted to stamp down on that. The problem is the British people have had enough, and they don't see anything that is working from the Labour government. The Labour government does not have the stomach to take the measures to do a proper deterrent. The Conservative government closed...
No, sorry. You had 400 hotels. We've now got 200 or less.
Yes,
yeah, but they were all closed under the Tories.
Go on.
You've closed the Labour
3.
government keeps saying that they've closed half their hotels. They haven't. They've closed 3. 200 for all the mess. Some of the, what the Tories got up to. Yes, they peaked at 400, but by the time Rishi Sunak left number 10, they'd already halved, and Labour's now taking credit for this, which is shameless. I'll also just address one thing. You're quite right to point out that the judge said it would be very unappealing if people were to make accusations about the motives behind this case. I say the judiciary in this country is so politically outrageous and biased as to be correct. It all needs burning down and starting again.
Metaphorically, of course.
Yeah.
We are looking at live images here, if you're watching us on TV or online, of outside the Bell Hotel. So, as we understand it, there's 10 minutes before the police would have to step in and remove the protesters. I'm not sure if people have decided to leave voluntarily yet. We'll check in. We'll check in and see on that. There is an issue that has reared its head regarding the judiciary, which we are going to touch on at the 10 p.m. hour. A remarkable scene, really, which is that one of the judges, Lord Justice Bean, who was a member of the Labour Party for 28 years, was the founder of Matrix Chambers, which is the same chambers that our Attorney General, Lord Hermer, worked from, and also, for reference as well, the KC who operated for Mauritius in the Chagos surrender deal. He worked at Matrix Chambers as well. He was the treasurer for the Society of Labour Lawyers and also the chairman of the Fabian Society. He was the man who was reading out that ruling earlier on. It's not a good look. We will go to that. Just before we go to the break, there's a lady in the audience. Would you like to make a quick point on this before we go to the break? Would that be all right?
Yeah, it's only to say, well done to Epping women, mothers, to doing what they've done. But in regards to Starmer now has just shown his true colours, how he values asylum seekers more than his own. I find it's disgusting.
All right. Well, we're going to return to this at 10 p.m. because the government is very saying, oh gosh, there's not a hierarchy of rights, but it's a question of perception. I mean, there's a court, and there's also a court of public opinion, isn't there? But we are going to return to this, and we're going to check back in with Epping as well in a few minutes' time and see what action the police take. Before I tell you what's coming up next, I believe we've got a brand new Great British giveaway for you. First up, don't get too excited. I'm finding out about what this is for the first time as well, so here we go. It's our biggest prize to date, worth over £104,000. You could win a four-berth motorhome. It's the motorhome's back. We'll bring a four-berth motorhome worth over 74 grand and a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash. Oh, good. It's not just the motorhome they're back, so it's Hayley Sparks. Brilliant. There she is to tell you more about it.
We could be putting you in the driving seat of this brand new four-berth motorhome in our biggest prize giveaway of the year so far. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be the proud owner of this 2025 Benamar Primero. It comfortably accommodates 4 people, comes with integrated bathroom and kitchen areas, has plenty of storage and can be driven on your standard driving licence. Plus, you'll also bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. Make sure you don't miss out.
For a chance to win the motorhome and cash, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck, everybody. She's mulling a tax raid on landlords, and she's just appointed a pro-tax radical lefty to her budget team. But is Rachel Reeves about to unleash tax Armageddon on the country? Watch out, because if you can see something in this room, Labour are going to tax it. Stay tuned.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. So, very lively in here tonight. I'm enjoying it. Just a slight air of danger, but anyway, it's all good. So, talking of danger, let's just whiz ourselves back quickly to the Bell Hotel in Epping because the time is fast approaching when I believe the police are going to start dispersing people. Jack Carson is with us. Jack, will the people be moved?
Well, most of them have already gone, to be honest, so they have complying with that dispersal order. The police have just given the announcement that there's 5 minutes left, so they're well aware, the people on this side, that they have got 5 minutes to disperse. That was when they put in the Section 14 notice as part of the Public Order Act. Part of that was these barriers here that we can see. These were put in about, I'd say, 1 or 2 hours ago. That's mainly ahead of a planned protest here on Sunday, but it's part of now the Section 14 order in the notice order in the Public Order Act. But of course that dispersal order taking place as well. Of course these people, they're all starting to pack up. There we go. Good night, policeman, from the man on the megaphone. People are starting to leave, and it's all quite disorderly here. I don't really envision any arrest because people are breaking that order this evening. It's all been quite civil all evening and probably well humoured as well, as they of course come out here to protest that ruling that we heard earlier today.
Hey, Jack, thank you very, very much. And, look, I suppose, as it seems so far, look, well done again to the people of Epping. You know, it's a big day. It's obviously been a Not the result that they would have wanted, but it seems like everyone's behaved themselves, you know, and I think doing a lot to quash that idea that everyone's a far-right lunatic, you know, just actually out there making their voices heard in a democratic society. So fair play again. Right, we're going to move on. Because still, you won't be able to see this on TV now, but we've left Jack Carson on the screen in the studio, and we can see him walking home. So there we go. Let's get on to tax. Yeah, keep it light. So, tax. The boss of one of Britain's biggest supermarkets has told the Chancellor, stop taxing everything. And he warned that the government's economic policies were an attack on businesses. So this comes amongst mounting speculation about what's going to hit all of us in the October budget. Just as by way of noise, are people in this room particularly worried about this October budget? Yeah, right, OK. Well, earlier this week, there were reports that the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is considering a tax rate on landlords, could see national insurance applied to rental income. She's also drafted Pensions Minister Torsten Bell. You could have made that joke again. Don't do it.
Thank you.
To lead her preparations for the budget. Now, Torsten Bell is basically a tax monster, OK? He wants to tax everything. He wants to tax you until the pips squeak. He formerly advised Ed Miliband, so the Ed Stone was his responsibility, but obviously been rewarded for failure. So, great stuff. I'm going to go straight to the audience on this. There is a lady there from Bournemouth, I believe.
Yes,
hello, thank you for coming.
Hello, hi.
What would you like to say about this tax Armageddon we're about to face?
They just seem to have no idea. They're supposed to be economists, and yet they don't think through the impact of what they're proposing. If you're going to put national insurance on for landlords, then they're just going to put the rents up, and it will go straight to the tenants. You know, the impact goes straight. If you're going to put tax on private sales of properties, the market people won't sell. You know, the market will stagnate. They've just got no idea.
Well, Christo, if only we had a... Well done, by the way, thank you. If only we had a landlord. If only we had a landlord on the panel.
I am a landlord. I am many things.
You see, if this was the BBC, it'd have been booed.
I am both a homeowner and a landlord. And you're making up your own jokes there. And so I've already told my tenants, come January, your rent's going up. And that's because of the policies that this government is bringing in. There's barely any profit now in being a landlord. And by the way, I like being a landlord. I love making the place ready for people. I'm a good landlord. I make sure that there's always I don't know why you're grinning at me like I'm not, because I actually, I pay the subscriptions every month, so the boiler is looked after. I make sure that the place is really, really nice for them. And landlords like me are getting squeezed out, but BlackRock and all of those, well, they're buying up massive properties to therefore become landlords themselves. So good luck with one of those. Can I just very quickly say, this is a disaster, what this government has done with this economy. We are in a debt crisis. Banks lost £8 billion worth of value today.
All right, OK. Barry, I want to bring you in here. People are very, very worried about this upcoming budget and the amount of tax that people might have to pay.
Well, Patrick, you know that this week the Lloyd's report on business confidence said that business confidence in the UK was now at a 9-year high. That's sorry. If you don't like the facts, you need to find your own. But actually, that's what the Lloyd's confidence survey said. We've created 380,000 jobs since the election. The UK is the fastest-growing economy in the G7 in the first half of this year, right? We've had a record 120 billion of private investment come into the UK this year, and wages grew more in our first 10 months than they did in 10 years under the Conservatives. So, all I'm saying is, you say it's a terrible situation, but we have the fastest growing economy in the G7.
It is 96% of GDP.
OK, guys.
It was 102 under the Tories.
It was only 83 after the financial crash.
OK, right. I just want to get, because someone shouted out something about there's nothing for the young people. It was this lady here. Would you like to stand up and say something?
Yeah, it was me. I was saying there's literally nothing for our youth at all. Our education system, even looking after our elderly, our social system is absolutely absolutely depleted. There is no jobs. I don't know what jobs you're talking about because I can't see none at all. The prospects as well, like I'm a student and I find it very difficult to find the funding, and also for our teachers to turn up. They're overworked, they're overstressed. And then when you're going to your council to get the helps as well, that's not there. That's all been taken away. But yet, like, if you need any support or funding and you come from a different place, you get given it. I suppose balloon modelling's a new career. You're welcome.
I absolutely love this show. Thank you, everybody. Go on quickly.
You make a really good point about young people, OK? And that's why what we did was we increased the national minimum wage so that they're going to be £1,400 a year better off.
The ones that still have jobs, Harry, because increasing the minimum wage has consequences, and employer national insurance. That has meant so many job losses.
380,000 extra jobs this past
And how many of them? Hang on. Okay, right. We've got, you know, they say lies, damn lies, and statistics, but you could rebut every single one of the things that Barry said.
All right, guys.
Let's talk about net jobs, which have fallen, and they've put on a few thousand jobs, but they've lost more. We'll talk about business confidence. There are 5 or 6 business surveys. Funnily enough, one of them showed them basically flatlining. That's the one Barry cited. All the others have gone down. Everything Rachel Reeves does this August is on her. She promised at the last budget it was a one-off tax-raising budget, and everything else, the foundations were fixed. She'd fixed this black hole that she'd made up. Brilliant, right, we can move on. Everything that happens, and from the government that promised that a tax on jobs wouldn't reduce jobs, we've now got a government promising that a tax on landlords won't increase rents. They don't know what they're doing.
Everybody, take a little breath, save yourselves, because there's lots more of this. We've got loads more coming up.
Let's make balloon animals level. Try and follow along and guess what I'm making. We'll start with the nose. Whoa, that's a long nose.
You'll never guess what perks some illegal migrants are getting whilst they wait for deportation. Stay tuned. All right.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Loads of sunshine and offer across the eastern Mediterranean. A few heavy showers in southern Italy and across Croatia. And the same weather system bringing the UK some wet weather on Saturday will also bring some rain to northernmost parts of Spain and Portugal. But most of Iberia dry, fine and sunny. Heavy showers in central and southern Italy and pretty wet in Croatia as well. Further heavy showers to come in Dubrovnik on Sunday. They should be clearing by Monday. Sunny skies in Barcelona.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here from the Met Office with your GB News weather update. Through tonight, it is going to turn mostly dry for many of us, but then tomorrow there's a band of heavy rain with some strong winds mixed in with it, all due to a weather system currently out in the Atlantic, but it is heading our way. Nonetheless, before that, most of today's showers are going to be fizzling out through the next few hours. Still some continuing for some western areas in particular. Many places, though, having a dry and often clear night, and under those clear skies, some rural spots in the countryside, it could turn a bit fresh. Temperatures in a few places could dip into mid, maybe high single figures, but most towns and cities, the more built up areas, holding up in double digits. A fine start to the day for many of us then tomorrow. Lots of actual sunshine around through the morning across much of England and Wales, away from those western coastal parts where there will be a few showers. It's looking largely dry, lots of blue sky through the morning. But across Northern Ireland, starting to turn cloudier by around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and a few patches of cloud and a few showers across parts of Scotland. Towards the east, though, it is looking largely dry. Away from Shetland here, there will be some fairly heavy rain around. Then as we go through the day, that band of rain that I highlighted at the start, that's going to sweep its way in, and so things are going to turn wet and windy as it pushes through. It's going to take a little while to arrive across eastern parts, not really until the evening or even overnight, but when you get that rain, it is going to be quite heavy and, like I said, some very strong winds mixed in with it. Because of the blustery wet weather coming through, it's going to feel fresher than of late, but warm enough in any sunny breaks ahead of it arriving. On Sunday, and we have more showers showers coming in across western parts. Further east, it's likely to stay dry with some decent sunshine, but even a few showers are likely to push through later on in the day. And then the showery, often unsettled theme continues as we go into next week. Some more persistent rain is possible at times as well. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody, to Patrick Christys tonight. And on the same day that the Home Office won its fight to keep an Epping migrant hotel open, it also emerged that taxpayers' cash is being spent on employing staff to teach balloon art, cake decorating, floristry to illegal migrants awaiting deportation. The Home Office has now ordered the removal of the job adverts, but earlier this year it emerged that councils are also offering migrants taxpayer-funded PlayStations, DJ lessons, yoga classes as well. So that's nice, isn't it? There's a chap on the front row. I'll go straight to you. So the audience has been so good tonight. Do you want to talk about this? Yeah.
Gladly.
Yeah, go on. All right.
Why is Morris Dancing not on that list?
Oh, there's Morris Dancing as well?
I mean, seriously, why do you put Morris Dancing on there?
Be a breach of human rights.
Oh, OK. Look, in simple terms, people in this room, out there, you guys, we've all been working hard, we've paid taxes, and our taxes go towards something. That's our futures, our national health, our police, for security, all the right stuff, schools, education, absolutely right. Every little bit you take away from that goes to this. And then they say they're short here at education, they're short here at NHS. What's the priority? I had to pay for my daughter's birthday party to have balloons made. I did not rely on any of you lot. I had to do it myself. Yeah? So why can we not choose the tax we pay, what we feel is right? Why should we rely on the government, whoever it is, that they should go to this sort of stuff?
All right, a fair point, well made. Jane, I'll bring you in first on this call.
I'm afraid all our taxes are newly going on paying a load more on debt because the cost of government borrowing has rocketed under Labour. It's now hit the highest since 1998, since the financial crash. So you would think government wanted to save money on things like balloon art for people in asylum hotels. But it sounds utterly crazy, and I think the Treasury, of all the things, I think you make very good point. We should have a say in where our tax. We are all happy to pay taxes for decent public services, absolutely. But this sort of thing, it just erodes trust in any sort of system at all. So yeah, it's just very sad. And sadly, in autumn, your taxes, because I didn't get to come in on it, Rachel Reeves, to have Torsten Bell, who has this kind of messianic zeal about taxes, I'm afraid we're going to get more of this sort of stuff. We're going to get more taxes.
See what you've done now. See what you've done.
Well, actually, I've got an exclusive here because some of this art, I think we're being a little bit harsh because some of these migrants are getting beautiful art lessons, and what you don't know is that actually some of the cabinet have done some of these art lessons, and I've got some of the art that they've produced. So firstly, Rachel Reeves was asked to do just something fantasy, something completely made up on the spot as a piece of art, and she came up with a black hole. That's all. We also, Angela Rayner was asked to do some art, and she came up with 3 houses. There's mouse there, which is number 10. I wonder why that's on her mind. And then finally, David Lammy was asked to come up with what's in his head. And, right, what's in his head? And this is what he came up with. This is the piece of art demonstrating what's in David Lammy's head. So I think that's a really nice gesture, and I thank the Cabinet for doing that.
Barry, I think I'll come to you next on this.
I thought you might.
I don't know where to start, really.
Art is important, Barry. I think we've demonstrated that.
Should we be providing balloon animals to illegal migrants?
I think Jane's absolutely right. It erodes trust. Because people think, what on earth's going on? In fact, the contract, I think it's with Mighty, says that they have to be housed and occupied, and Mighty have decided that that's the way they're going to occupy them. But that's why Seema Malhotra, who is the minister, has told them that this is not what they should be doing. But the decision about balloon art as... now, look, I understand that if you've got a whole load of people together, you do have to occupy them, and otherwise what happens is they're roaming around looking for something to do. The gym, it seems to me, makes sense. If you've got a whole load of young men, get a gym in there and get them focused on that. But quite honestly, some of this stuff, I think people just look at it and they despair. Well, absolutely.
But they're leaving. The thing is, it's an asylum centre for them to be deported. So why are we?
No, it's not.
I thought it was in Heathrow.
No. I'm sorry. It's not simply for them to be deported. Most of the people who are getting this are there because they're actually going to have their cases judged and determined.
I know every time I come on Patrick's show, I end up calling for war with France, but this week I'm going to take I still believe in that, but I'm going to take a slightly different view. One thing the French are right on is the reason that migrants come to Britain in such numbers is because of pull factors. It's actually, if you poll illegal migrants, and this has been done, it's surprisingly little to do with the fact that they speak English or that they may have pre-existing families here. It's to do with the luxury they're given. It's to do with the welfare. It's to do with the hotels.
I don't think the balloon
actually, no, but the way we treat them, they don't actually, as far as I'm aware, the ECHR doesn't have a right to not be bored. And actually, I think it would be a very good deterrent if we say, OK, even if we're going to put you in a hotel, you're going to be sat in a plain room with nothing to do for 24 hours a day. Yeah. That might actually put some more off than offering them all these activities.
We will take away your balloons.
All right, when we come back, I don't want to have heard of this bloke. I had David. I don't want to have heard of David. David. I don't know. Anyway, he's going to be boycotting the president. I'm sure Trump's quaking in his boots. Do you know this man?
No.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello, everyone. Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GBNews family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. This is by far and away the most raucous group of people we've ever had in the studio, and I love it. So, anyway, the Liberal Democrats leader, who? Anybody, who? Sir Ed Davey yesterday announced that he will be boycotting the banquet for Donald Trump. Oh, no. Oh, how will we recover? Anyway, Sir Ed said that he felt that he has no other option but to decline the King's invitation. But does anyone in America, including the President, actually know who he is? Well, I went to find out yesterday. Do you know this man?
No. No.
I don't think so.
Any guesses for you?
No, I don't know, sorry.
Look at him there. Hey, look, he's a fun guy. Just having fun.
Nope.
Never heard of him.
What is his name? I don't. I'm
No.
sorry.
Ed Davey. He's not our Prime Minister, no, and probably never will be. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't know.
Anything?
I don't know.
Have you never seen him before in your life?
Never in my life.
I don't have to do it now.
Never seen him before in his life. There we go. Right, let's go straight to the audience. We've got Zoe here. Zoe, what would you like to say about Ed Davey's boycotting of President Trump's banquet?
Good evening, Patrick
Good
and
evening,
panel.
Zoe.
Zoe from Essex. So obviously Ed Davey has been accused of disrespecting the King for boycotting Trump's banquet. Are the Lib Dems just a great big joke?
Yeah.
Right. What do we think?
Well, good question, solid question.
Sorry, the Lib Dems, the what?
Yeah, exactly.
The what? Sorry. Well, actually, I mean, I do understand where they're coming from. I'm also furious, actually, about Trump. So I will no longer, and I'm announcing this tonight, I will no longer be attending any royal weddings. I'm not going to go to any. And, yeah, I won't. No more tea at Windsor Castle. And I've just texted to turn down the date at Pizza Express with Prince Andrew. I said, no, I won't do it. I won't. In fairness, I kind of didn't want to do the last one that much anyway. I mean, it's just like, it's so irrelevant what he's doing, it's nonsense.
Oh, all right, it's been a bit of performative virtue, so they've made Davey, do we think?
The wet in the wetsuit. Sorry, that was very mean. But I just think it's pointless. It's rude to His Majesty the King. I think going to a state banquet, it's his job to represent his party. It's an honour to be invited. I think it is pointless. You know, a sanction, for it to be effective, the person who you're sanctioning has to notice, and it has to have a negative effect on them. And I think neither of those things is true in this case.
Harry, would you have gone?
Look, when I was invited to the palace, I didn't think it actually said His Majesty invites. I think it said His Majesty commands.
Yeah.
So the idea that Ed Davey got an invitation, actually there was a command issued by His Majesty. But so of course it's discourteous, but much more important than that, what does it say about somebody who aspires to lead this country that like Trump or not, you have to say they are our closest allies. And you're not there for the man Trump, you're there for the president of our closest ally.
I'm going to applaud something you're saying.
It wins you round in the end. I tell you, everyone always says it does tend to win you round in the end. Go on. Yeah.
So you can lose us now.
I'm going to quit, will I, mate?
Well, I also applaud something because your revelation that it is in fact that His Majesty commanded Sir Ed Davey to go, by implication means that he should now be sent to the Tower of London forthwith. Left there to languish with the balloons, presumably. There was an astonishing poll this week that said that he's been leader of the Liberal Democrats for 5 years, and after all that time, 54% of voters don't know who he is, including 35% of Lib Dem voters. What a record! What a record!
I put it to a Lib Dem MP on my show last night, and she just refused to believe it. She was like, "No."
Was Ed Davey's their leader?
No. Nigh on 40% of Lib Dem voters don't know who the leader of the party is. So I think President Trump's all right.
It's united the room, though, and the panel.
Anything to add on, Mr. Davey?
No. I'm going to put my art back up though as a demonstration of all the problems in this country.
All right, look, I've got a lot more coming your way in the next hour. So we're going to be revisiting the Epping hotel issue, and I'll show you a little clip. So that was protest tonight at Epping. We're going to talk about that ruling again. It's the big news of the day, and there's loads of different angles to it. I'm also going to be talking about Angela Rayner, because it looks a little bit like it's one rule for them and one rule for us. David Lammy as well also was given 32 grand's worth of stuff by the Q80s, although he says he's left it with his office. Fine, we'll see whether or not that stays there, won't we? Yeah, we've got all that and much, much more coming your way, including Rylan as well. Got any Rylan fans in? Well, there you go. All to play for. See you in a sec.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again, a very good day to you. I'm here with your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Many of us will see a fair few more showers to come as we go through the rest of today, but then tomorrow there's a band of heavy rain that's going to sweep its way, and that's in association with a frontal system currently waiting out in the Atlantic. Before that though, it is a showery picture as we go through the rest of today. Yes, there'll be some sunny spells in between the showers, but some of the showers could be quite heavy, maybe even thundery. Then later on we're going to see the showers generally easing and clearing away, but some showers continuing across western coastal parts in particular. Other places, more central eastern areas, turning largely dry, some clear skies, but towns and cities not seeing temperatures dropping too low, most places holding up in double figures. So a fine start to the day tomorrow, and not an especially fresh one either. But not everywhere is going to get off to a fine start. Still some showers across western parts of Scotland continuing through the night and into the morning. Further east, a drier, brighter picture here. Across much of Northern Ireland starting to turn cloudier before that rain pushes its way in later on. And then across much of England and Wales, yes, a few showers for western areas, central and eastern parts getting the day off to a bright, often sunny start. Then as we go through the day, the big talking point is a band of rain that's sweeping its way in from the west. It's going to gradually make its way in, and the rain is going to be pretty heavy on it. And with the heavy rain, watch out as there could be some strong winds. We're talking coastal gales in places, particularly towards the west and southwest. Obviously under the wind and rain, it's going to feel pretty unpleasant at times. Further east, temperatures still just about getting into the low 20s, but later on that wet and windy weather is going to push through, so a wet end to the day across many eastern parts tomorrow, turning drier, brighter towards the west. The unsettled theme continues through the rest of the weekend and into the beginning of next week, with some showers or longer spells of rain for many of us. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
West
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
And
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is. I love to see it. Fantastic. Hello, everyone in the back as well. Thank you very much for coming. Well, what a time to be alive. It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Here's what's on this hour. Yeah, well, we've had more protests at those migrant hotels. Why? Because of this.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal, both to Somani and to the Home Secretary, against the grant of the interim injunction.
Just in case you're wondering, that's just your bog-standard garden variety case of a former Labour Party member, a treasurer of the Society of Labour Lawyers, backing a Labour government over the closure of the Bell Hotel. And
only one rule with this cabinet, and that is that there's one rule for them and one rule for all of us.
gosh, a rare moment of honesty there from the Labour Party. Angela Rayner swerves tax. The Tories now want her to be investigated. Plus...
Let's make balloon animals bubble! Try and follow along and guess what I'm making. We'll start with the nose. Oh, that's a long nose.
As a man who's definitely not a threat to society. Anyway, you are paying for illegal immigrants to learn how to play with balloon animals.
This month, Donald Trump will come to the UK for a state banquet. I've been invited. My wife and I won't be going.
Do you know this man?
No.
That says it all, really, doesn't it? OK, stay home then, Ed. Anyway, Ed Davies boycotted President Trump.
But two, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here. It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed. Here's the hotel.
Yeah, it was just sweet Rylan. I mean, Rylan has just said something totally normal on television, and now the left want to cancel him. Plus,
a source of tax revenue working people pay, their income tax. Haven't increased taxes.
And ending the tax break.
£1 billion of unfunded tax cuts.
And so the tax break for...
If you can see it, Labour's going to tax it. They are going to tax the very air you breathe. On my panel tonight, we've got former Tory MP Jane Stevenson. We've got broadcasting royalty, Christo Foufas. We've got senior political correspondent at The Express, Christian Cowgate. And the Labour MP, Barry Gardner. Or is it better or worse? Better or worse than at the start, Barry? They love you, really. Right, come on, get ready, Britain. Here we go. Well, get ready. Has anyone seen Yvette Cooper? Anyone? If you're out there, Yvette, we just want to know you're safe. Next.
Patrick, thank you very much and good evening. The top stories. Well, a temporary injunction that was set to block asylum seekers from being housed at an Essex hotel has been overturned at the Court of Appeal. Samani Hotels, which owns the Bell Hotel in Epping and the Home Office, challenged a High Court ruling that would have stopped 138 asylum seekers from being housed there beyond the 12th of September. In a ruling last week, Mr Justice Eyre granted Epping Forest District Council an interim injunction after the authority claimed that Samani Hotels had breached planning rules by using the Bell as accommodation for asylum seekers. After a hearing yesterday, 3 Court of Appeal judges ruled in favour of Samani Hotels and the Home Office today, stating that Mr Justice Eyre's ruling was seriously flawed in principle. The ruling comes as a relief to the Home Office, which had been braced for further legal challenges from other councils over the use of hotels in their areas. Kemi Badenoch claims Sir Keir Starmer puts the rights of illegal immigrants above the rights of British people who just want to feel safe in their towns and communities. Border Security and Asylum Minister Dame Angela Eagles said the Home Office launched this appeal so hotels could be exited in a controlled and orderly way.
Well, nobody wants to close the Bell Hotel and all other asylum hotels more than me, and we have pledged that we are going to do that by the end of the Parliament. Today's judgment allows us to do it in a planned and managed way so that we can get the system running and make sure that we can exit hotels for once and for all.
Now, Conservatives have called for an investigation into Angela Rayner as serious questions grow over her tax and housing affairs. In a letter from Kevin Hollinray, Conservative Party chairman, the Conservatives have asked Sir Laurie Magnus, the independent advisor on ministerial standards, to open an investigation into Rayner for potential breaches of the ministerial code. Angela Rayner has reportedly saved £40,000 in stamp duty on her new seaside flat after telling tax authorities it was her main home. The Telegraph newspaper say the Deputy Prime Minister is understood to have removed her name from the deeds of her house in Greater Manchester a few weeks before buying an £800,000 flat in Hove. These changes would enable Ms Rayner to avoid paying £70,000 in stamp duty, which would have been applicable if Hove was her second home. Instead, she is thought to have paid £30,000. A spokesperson for Rayner said she paid the correct duty owed on the purchase, entirely properly and in line with all relevant requirements. Any suggestion otherwise is entirely without base. And finally, a suspended Labour MSP has denied allegations he placed a secret camera in toilets in the Scottish Parliament. Colin Smith has been charged by police in relation to the allegation, according to the PA News Agency. The South Scotland MSP was arrested on the 5th of August and charged with a separate offence of possession of indecent images, for which he was suspended from Scottish Labour. His pass for Holyrood was deactivated yesterday. And those are the latest headlines. For now, more in an hour.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Good stuff. Thank you very much to everyone who has made the journey to be here. Big shout out to the furthest travel this evening from Swansea. Just pipped the people from Cardiff at the post there. But anyway, I just want to, on a serious note, guys, serious note, I'd just like to begin this hour reminding you of our urgent appeal. Yvette Cooper has been missing now for several weeks. Yvette, if you're out there, just let us know you're OK. If anyone's seen Yvette, please do get in touch. The public are very concerned. Not necessarily that concerned for her, actually. They're more concerned about this.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal, both to Somani and to the Home Secretary, against the grant of the interim injunction.
So, should a judge who was reportedly a member of the Labour Party for 28 years, the treasurer for the Society of Labour Lawyers, the bloke who founded a left-wing legal chambers, have been allowed to rule on this high-profile case? I mean, during the hearing, the government used the ECHR against the own people. It was argued that the rights of illegal immigrants outweigh the rights of the British public. It was argued that serious allegations of sexual assault against a 14-year-old girl in school uniform are not adequate justification to close a migrant hotel. The perception is of a left-wing establishment stitch-up against the wills of the British people. Well, not all the British people, of course, because we do have to live amongst these very angry, shouty, far-left lunatics that, and hear me out on this, behave a lot like fascists.
Idiots! Go away!
Any thoughts on the... Any thoughts? Get a job. Get a job. Get a job. This is my job. Do some work. This is my job. What are you doing?
No, you did see that correctly. There was a man holding a Unite the Union flag there, telling someone else to get a job. So, there we go. It's interesting, that, because I walked past a Unite the Union strike today. But anyway, we have entered a very dark time. Is it really true that the British state and the legal system is putting the rights of illegal migrants before the rights of its own people? We're going to get the views of my panel. I'd like to hear from the audience on this as well, because let's be honest, you're the people that really matter. Who have we got on this? We got anyone with it? Yes, sir. Yes, good stuff. Go on, what would you like to say on this, my man?
Well, just over a year ago, we elected democratically a new government. And I naively always thought that governments were elected in order to implement the will of the people as per their manifestos. Now, we have a government that's directly acted against the will of its people, whose recourse was then to go to court. The government then had the contempt for those people to appeal against that court judgment. That not just shows contempt for the electorate, it shows really a kind of contempt for the idea of democracy itself, in my mind. And just one other point I'd like to make as well. Earlier today, earlier today, I heard that the police had said that they would not provide any kind of police presence for the school run to allay the fears of the parents of children going to and from school, because an offence had not been committed and they wouldn't police it. But they seem to have unlimited resources to make people go home at 9:30. They're setting up a law. They're setting up that deadline for people then to break it, to then they could arrest them. They're creating the offence.
OK. Well, it's a series of interesting points. I think I'm kind of agree with you. Just in terms of, to be clear, I think what you were referencing was I was covering the 3 till 6 p.m. show earlier today, and there was a lady, a local mum, who was on that show, who said that apparently the local school near that hotel, there's like one way in and one way out of it, and it's down quite a dark lane, apparently. And she had gone down a walk down there with the police officer and said, is there anything you can do here to police this? Bear in mind there's like 15 police officers pretty much at all times outside the hotel. The police officer apparently said to her, no. Then they said, well, why? And then they said, she said, well, there's been some people at this hotel looking at schoolgirls, and he's apparently said to her, well, looking at a schoolgirl isn't an offence. So that was what I think you were referring to. That I was on my show earlier today. Right, Christian, go on. How about this then? Really, what's your views in relation to what our gentleman said there? And is it true that the government's put the rights of asylum seekers over the rights of British people?
The government said as much in court. It argued that the rights afforded to illegal migrants by the ECHR are more important than the rights of local communities to not live among throngs of young men of fighting age who've crossed illegally in small boats. The government also argued, incidentally, that the previous rulings to close the hotel would lead to chaos. And it begs the question, if this isn't chaos, what the hell is? I think we are getting to a really dangerous tipping point. And I do commend Labour people who are starting to get this. We've had a trickle of some fairly grandee names from the Blair government who are starting to say that we need to leave the ECHR. My concern is that Keir Starmer would never consider it because he is a lawyer and not a leader, and it is in every sinew of his being to put the rights of judges, whether they're in this country or international, above the rights of the British people.
I agree. I think Keir Starmer does have a chip for anything to do with the European Union, to do with closer ties with Europe, and he will not ever leave the ECHR. I totally agree with that. The gentleman in the audience made some fantastic points. I think, unfortunately, what was in the Labour manifesto was smash the gangs. That has nothing to do with stopping people coming here. It means they're going to do some sort of fluffy, sort of Interpol stuff that makes no difference. And today, Keir Starmer tweeted about, you know, I'm still going for smash the gangs. It's rubbish, because the gangs don't exist because they only exist because of the need for them, for the migrants. That's fueling the demand. It's not the gangs are making migrants come here. He's got it the wrong way round, and I think the British people know he is not going to solve this, and that is why the protests are happening now. And I think but somebody will always step in to escort people over the channel. There is money to be made. You smash one gang, another gang will come. It is the wrong way round. He's focused on the wrong stuff. He needs deterrent.
All right, just before we carry on, if someone else, preferably someone who's not been before, we've got a lot of new faces in tonight. If you would like to make a point on this, you know, just stick your hand up and we can try and get the microphone to you. So it's over to you. But Barry, this fundamental question then. In fact, no, let me change that. Sorry, Barry. Should a judge who was reportedly a member of the Labour Party for 28 years, treasurer of the Society for Labour Lawyers, founder of the Matrix Chambers, which obviously was Lord Hermer as well, his former chambers, should he have been anywhere near this case?
Look, judges in this country try things on the basis of law. We've had Tory judges for years, we've had, Labour judges for years, but actually they have to stand on the basis of the law. Now, you talked about pitting the rights of migrants against the rights of the people of this country, the rights of people in Epping, right? Nobody in Epping, and let's be clear about this, they have huge concerns, right? But nobody in Epping is having their rights violated. They have the right to protest and they're doing it, right? There are no rights being violated for the people in Epping.
Their right to protest tonight is ending at 9:30. Their right to walk home safely is not taking place because they're worried.
No, sorry. One of the refugees has been charged with sexual assault.
A fairly significant breach of rights for locals in Epping.
Yes.
Yes.
We won't discuss it because it's sub judice, as you know, but I will say that you should never condemn a whole group of people because of the actions of one of them. People who come here have to live by our laws. That's absolutely right. What is not right, what is not right is to say that because some migrants commit crimes, all migrants are criminals.
But it's not,
they're not, and responsible politicians have to make that clear.
Every single person who has come across the Channel on a small boat has already committed a crime. They came here illegally.
Okay, two points. 50% of the refugees in this country did not come across the Channel in a small boat. So actually, more than 50%. Those who did are not criminalised in international law. It is only the previous government that said that the mode of transport made you a criminal.
We made it illegal, and Labour have made it legal again. So Labour have scrapped that. It is now not an offence.
OK, I don't know. Anyway, I don't care where the people come from, right? I don't care almost if they're migrants or not. I don't know anyone that would want to walk home next to a place housing a load of undocumented men.
Yeah, fine.
Sorry.
So, Christo, what are you going to do? The consequence, and this audience said it earlier on this evening, the consequence is that you say, right, kick them out of the hotel. Where are they then going to go? They're going to go to an hotel. Right, you said that they're going to go back home. Yeah. Reform tried that this week. 600,000 we're going to send back. And so, who are you going to pay? They were going to pay the Taliban to send women and children back to Afghanistan.
Sometimes, Barry, we have to have conversations with different regimes that we don't like.
And Germany are
exactly that. Secondly,
and who are you going to negotiate with in Iran?
Well, I mean, we could get to that. I'm sorry. Well, you have to have conversations with regimes.
So you want to close down the hotel first and have the conversation with the Ayatollahs later?
I want to stop the pull factors from people coming here in the first place.
For what it's worth, the Labour government promised to proscribe the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The reason it hasn't done so is because actually it's found that having diplomatic relations with the Iranian regime is actually quite useful for our national security. It's the reason we still have an embassy open in Tehran. So Barry's now claiming we can't touch the Iranians. The government seems to think differently.
We're still trading with Iran as well.
Sorry, right, we are an audience show. Everyone's very lively tonight. I believe there is a gentleman who would like to make a point.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes. Hello.
I just say if I ask a question, I would just do this. So hi, Mum. Sorry, I had to do it. Barry, you talk about not tarnishing everyone with the same brush, and I'd agree with you, but it feels like that doesn't apply in the same case where you think of Keir Starmer's comments last year after the protest, painting everyone as a far-right thug. It's what it seems to be. You can't pick and choose the logic, essentially.
Oh, he's got you there, Barry.
Yeah.
He's got you there, Barry.
Well, first of all, can I say hello, Mum? Okay.
For the first time, hopefully. There's a queue of Premier League footballers outside for you, mate, right?
If only.
The point is this. You should not be vilifying a whole group of people on the basis of what one or two of them do.
Well, that's exactly what Keir Starmer did with the riots. That's exactly what he did.
But they were... I'm sorry.
That we can't we need to be careful with the words we're using. We can't be conflating every single person that comes over the channel as an asylum seeker. We need to be clear. And this is, again, I think the reason why it's such a worrying thing, because, the asylum system is broken. We want to be looking after the people that are genuine asylum seekers. We want to be stopping the people that are coming over for purely economic reasons, so stop exploiting the broken system. That's why we need to be careful how we describe them.
Sorry, can I don't want to keep putting you on the spot, but the reason why I think that's an interesting point is because usually that argument is used the other way around, isn't it? We need to be really careful with our words, we don't want to... But actually, what you seem to be suggesting is that we just shouldn't be referring to all of these people as asylum seekers, because some of them are not. We should be careful.
I think it's a tactic, isn't it, to control the narrative, to take away the nuance of all of this, and I think we need to be putting that we need to put that back into the conversation.
And that's why we do need to actually look again at the 1951 Convention right? And we need to then be able to distinguish between those people who are economic migrants, who don't have a right to be here, and those people who are asylum seekers, who you rightly said we ought to be protecting.
But it's still too many people, Barry.
But the first step in doing that was what the government actually managed to do with France in terms of the 50
It's funny you should mention that, Barry. It's funny you should mention that, because there were two parts to that French deal. One was that they were going to turn the boats back, and now they don't want to do it because it's a bit cold. And the second part of it was returning people to France, and the deadline for that passed yesterday, and we've not had any.
And the French government has collapsed, which doesn't help. Which doesn't help anything, does it?
Other than that, it's going perfectly well.
Yeah.
It's really working out.
All right. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, there's something in the water tonight. I mean, I love it, but anyway, it's time for a brand spanking new Great British giveaway. Oh, yay. OK, and the motorhome's back. Woo! And it's the biggest one ever. You can win £104,000 worth of stuff, including that motorhome and a whopping 30 grand in tax-free cash. Here is Hayley Sparks with all the details.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof light, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For a chance to win the motorhome and cash, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, you very much can't take your eyes off it tonight. It's a vibe that pretty much anything can happen, so good, I like it. But coming up, we've got a bit of this.
There's one rule for them and one rule for all of us.
I have been looking forward to talking about this. It's the row over Angela Rayner's swanky new seaside flat. It stepped up a notch today because the Deputy Prime Minister was accused of dodging tax. I'm going to reveal the details shortly, and the Tories now want her investigated. Don't go anywhere.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
This is going to be a concern for some people, but the government points to data, very, very clear data, that shows the risk of accident shoots well up over the age of 70.
Good afternoon. Yes, I've had a look at that data today as well, and you're right. It shows that while accidents involving young people, serious accidents, have gone down in recent years, those involving older people have actually gone up a little bit. And I think the problem at the moment is we don't really know why that is and what's behind that. But if you look at what is published, the statistics and the views of the police, it doesn't actually suggest that problems with people's eyes are the main contributor. So it may or may not be a good idea to have a mandatory eye test for motorists. Actually, we'd probably say not just for older people, but for everybody. But it's not clear that that would really impact very significantly on the number of accidents. I think the reason 70 may have been chosen is because that's the age at which you have to renew your driving licence. But is that the right age? Should that be 75? As you say, in a way, you know, ageing is changing over time, and a lot of people are very fit and well at 70 and at 75. So I think it does run the risk of looking ageist to just be suggesting that it's people over 70 who should have an eye test, because, of course, we can develop eye problems at any time in our lives.
I suppose there is the argument, though, you're more likely to the older you get. And the point at which this kicks in is always going to be debated. For me, I think one of the bigger issues is access and availability. If this is going to be a massive waiting list for people that actually stops them accessing their own vehicles, this is going to be a big present problem.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. And yes, the Conservatives have this evening, so it's a little bit of breaking news for you, called for an investigation into Angela Rayner after it was claimed that she dodged £40,000 in stamp duty on a new seaside flat near Hove. The Telegraph is reporting that the Deputy Prime Minister told the authorities it was her main home after removing her name from the deeds of her other residence in Greater Manchester, Ashton-under-Lyne, which is where her constituency is. She did that weeks before buying this £800,000 flat in Hove. Good job she knows the severity of avoiding tax, though, because there's always a tweet. There we go. Tax avoidance costs lives, tweeted Angela Rayner not so long ago. There we are. Look at that. Well, how times change, don't they? Have we got someone to make a point on this, or are we going straight to the panel? Yes, sir, with the microphone. OK, go on. Hello.
Evening, Patrick.
Hello.
Hello, Barking and Dagenham, by the way. Fantastic area. I always want to make sure we say that. So it's emerged that the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, has dodged £40,000 in stamp duty. She must be very good friends with Rachel Reeves, or Rachel from Accounts, clearly. They usually use the line of attack for reform, saying that Nigel's never in Clacton. Nigel was always in Clacton, always making sure that he represents his people. So it's now, so her apparently new residence is 250 miles away from her constituency. So Angela Rayner, here's a question for you. Are you in your constituency, or are you in your new house where you've dodged stamp duty?
Yeah.
Well, it's the point. Go on.
But that's a very fair question, because if I get this right, so the new flat in Brighton at the cost of £800,000, which, by the way, Brighton and Hove has a housing crisis, and as housing minister, she's actually presiding over policies that are apparently to solve the housing crisis, whilst adding to it herself, in my humble opinion. So that's her main residence for tax purposes to avoid the stamp duty, yet her main residence for constituency business, it's still her home in Greater Manchester. And that's aside from the other residence that she has, which is the one she gets as part of her job. So, yeah, really solving the housing crisis there, Angela, by completely adding to it. But it is, you know, again, we spoke about landlords. You know, there is so much that her and the Cabinet are bringing in that are aiming to restrict people when it comes to houses. And that is why this is such rank hypocrisy. If she was bringing in policies that encouraged second home ownership, I'd say there's nothing to see here. But she is being a complete hypocrite by penalising some people and sticking her beak in the trough herself.
Everybody an explanation. I
and
think
she also owns
£40,000. She may well owe
not legally.
£40,000.
Not legally, she doesn't. Sorry, go on.
I think some things don't add up. So what doesn't make sense is that she declared to the Ashfield Council that it was her primary residence, and then she didn't have to pay council tax in London on her Grace and Favour home. So I think the council tax doesn't seem to match her declaration of where she lives. So good on Kemi for calling for her name to be expunged from the electoral register in her own constituency, I think, because you can't, if that isn't where she's living. So it's, I think there's quite a lot of things, but people deserve to have some answers.
That's right.
Barry, your take on this question.
Look, is it legal to flip your residence? Yes, it is. Do I like it? No, I don't. The Inland Revenue distinguishes between tax planning, tax avoidance and tax evasion.
But it's not a good look for a
hang on. So tax planning is your ISAs. Tax planning is when you minimise your tax liability. You might put money into a SIP or an ISA, and that's encouraged by government as part of savings. That's a good thing. It's legal. Tax avoidance is where you use artificial or contrived schemes to reduce your liability by employing loopholes and complex arrangements. And that is legal, but it is considered sharp practice. Yeah. So the Inland Revenue doesn't come down on you for it, but they don't like it. Okay. Right?
It's not a good example.
Hang on, let me just finish, because you've then got tax evasion. That's where you conceal your assets. Yeah. You put them offshore, or you lie about them. So she has done tax avoidance. She has not done tax evasion.
Bad example for a secretary.
How has she afforded it on the salary she's on? How do you, because it was said this week.
She's had a lot of clothes from Lord Anne.
You know, she must be taking. She must be taking a leaf out of Nancy Pelosi's book. You know, how do you do it? How do you do it on these salaries?
I don't know. Look, Christian, we'll go. I've got a statement from Angela Rayner, thankfully, after this. But Christian, just quick, briefly.
Well, you raised the point I'd like to know, because I'm 28. I can't see any chance of owning a home in my near future, and yet she.
And you're not Deputy Prime Minister either, are you?
No, I'm not. But neither is she. Really.
Well, I'm afraid she is actually.
But she's been a union rep, an MP for a few years, and has been Deputy Prime Minister for 1 year, and she's managed to rack up, 1.45 million quid's worth of property. I'd like to know how she manages, so maybe I could copy, even with a less competent accountant. And the other point is that, actually her deputy at the Department for Housing and Local Government has hit out at rich multiple homeowners, exacerbating exactly what you said, which is a housing crisis, especially in Brighton. I frankly don't know how she can look herself in the mirror.
Okay. You've also, can I just say very quickly, she also benefited from right to buy, so she made a hefty profit because she didn't live with her husband.
We're going to have to go to Miss Rayner now. Who is sad? Oh, sorry, a spokesperson for Miss Rayner. Anyway, the Deputy Prime Minister paid the correct duty owed on the purchase entirely properly and in line with all relevant requirements. Any suggestion otherwise is entirely without basis. OK. All right.
There's a little £40,000 bit there of my black hole. £40,000 bit.
Christo, I'm just going to ask you to get your black hole away from me, please, mate. All right. Coming up.
Too, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here. It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed. Here's the hotel.
Well, Rylan Clark has been slammed a little bit by the woke liberal media, which I think makes him a friend of mine. So stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Loads of sunshine and offer across the eastern Mediterranean. A few heavy showers in southern Italy and across Croatia. Same weather system bringing the UK some wet weather on Saturday. Will also bring some rain to northernmost parts of Spain and Portugal. But most of Iberia dry, fine and sunny. Heavy showers in central and southern Italy and pretty wet in Croatia as well. Further heavy showers to come in Dubrovnik on Sunday. They should be clearing by Monday. Sunny skies in Barcelona.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello.
Very good evening to you. I'm here from the Met Office with your GB News weather update. Through tonight, it is going to turn mostly dry for many of us, but then tomorrow there's a band of heavy rain with some strong winds mixed in with it, all due to a weather system currently out in the Atlantic, but it is heading our way. Nonetheless, before that, most of today's showers are going to be fizzling out through the next few hours. Still some continuing for some western areas in particular. Many places, though, having a dry and often clear night, and under those clear skies, some rural spots in the countryside, it could turn a bit fresh. Temperatures in a few places could dip into mid, maybe high single figures, but most towns and cities, the more built up areas, holding up in double digits. A fine start to the day for many of us then tomorrow. Lots of actual sunshine around through the morning across much of England and Wales, away from those western coastal parts where there will be a few showers. It's looking largely dry, lots of blue sky through the morning. But across Northern Ireland, starting to turn cloudier by around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and a few patches of cloud and a few showers across parts of Scotland. Towards the east, though, it is looking largely dry. Away from Shetland here, there will be some fairly heavy rain around. Then as we go through the day, that band of rain that I highlighted at the start, that's going to sweep its way in, and so things are going to turn wet and windy as it pushes through. It's going to take a little while to arrive across eastern parts, not really until the evening or even overnight, but when you get that rain, it is going to be quite heavy and, like I said, some very strong winds mixed in with it. Because of the blustery wet weather coming through, it's going to feel fresher than of late, but warm enough in any sunny breaks ahead of it arriving. On Sunday, and we have more showers coming in across western parts. Further east, it's likely to stay dry with some decent sunshine, but even a few showers are likely to push through later on in the day. And then the showery, often unsettled theme continues as we go into next week. Some more persistent rain is possible at times as well. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Thank you very much to our live studio audience. Lovely to have so many of you here. I'm really, really interested to do this topic. So ITV presenter Rylan Clark received a mixed reaction online after he voiced his opinions on migrant hotels, just kind of like illegal immigration anyway. I think we can play you a clip of it.
This is the narrative we're being fed.
Yeah.
Here's the hotel, here's the phones, here's the iPad, here's the NHS in reception of your hotel, here's 3 meals a day, here's a games room in the hotel, have a lovely time and welcome. And then there's people that have lived here all their lives that are struggling.
Yeah. Right, that is obviously a snippet of what he said, and what he said was so benign. You know, he started out saying, look, there's so many migrants who come and work, and, you know, public services saved his mum's life. All of this, honestly, it was just... Anyway, what you saw on the screen before was the Metro, decided the newspaper, did an opinion piece calling his rant wrong and dangerous. But anyway, there we are. I'm just going to throw straight over to Christo. Do you know Rylan?
I've met him. I don't know him. I've met him once, but in a work capacity, very, very briefly. So I don't know him at all. But I like him. I think he's done good. I think he was a bit of a laughing stock, and he's actually done OK. Yeah. But I'm actually going to pull you up, actually, on something you said in your intro, because you said he gave his opinion. He didn't give his opinion, and I'm so sick of all these thick people who are saying... who are criticising him. The thick people who are criticising him. You're not criticising him. The thick people who are people who are criticising him, because actually he didn't give his opinion. He said at the start, let's take politics out of this. So he is not talking about a political allegiance. He says this country is built on legal immigration. Actually, if anything was an opinion, that was, which is quite positive. He then goes on and talks about the perks like iPads, phones, whatever that migrants supposedly get in hotels. And he says the words, it does seem like. He says that this is the narrative we're being fed. So therefore, he's not saying these things as fact. He's saying this is what people believe is happening. He also says, I believe something major should be done about this. Again, every political party is saying that. Pretty much everyone in Britain is saying that. And he also talks about what we see in the press, what some people are doing in this country in the context of crimes. Again, saying some people. So those thickos that are criticising him actually didn't listen to a word he said.
Fair enough. There's a gentleman here who would like to make a point, is that right?
Well, yeah, I agree with what you said. Yet again, it's the mainstream media siding with the so-called, with the left on this. What you said is exactly right. Ryland spoke for, the mainstream media said he divided the country. He didn't divide the country, because most of us believe every word of what he said was absolutely true. And like you said, absolutely true, and we support everything, well, I certainly do, everything that he said is right. The people that are calling for his cancellation, those are the ones that should be cancelled, because those are the ones that are out of touch with what's going on in the country. Good for Rylan. There should be more like him on the TV who are willing to speak their views like that. And on the strength of that, I bought tickets to see him in pantomime. Oh yes, I have.
There you go. Brilliant. Yeah, Jane, your views on what Rylan...
I'm going to come and see him in pantomime as well. I think he dared to step out.
Can perform at Tory conference.
Yeah. Great. I think he dared to step outside the media-lovey bubble and actually say some common-sense things. People have completely airbrushed the positive things he said. I think he said his mum's not been well.
Exactly.
Legal migrants have cared for his mum. They've built the country. He was so... You know, I can't believe he's balanced. It was balanced, it was honest, and it was very moderate, and I cannot believe people are trying to paint him as a far-right loon.
But he's also for the sake of this, he's another bloke from Essex for us. So you've got, like, him, Tom Skinner, the people from the Bell, the people from the outside the Bell Hotel. I've started to think we owe everyone in Essex a pint at the minute, actually.
So I don't think what he said was particularly revolutionary. What was important was the fact that he felt comfortable enough to say it. He's not the sort of person you'd expect that from. And you mentioned Tom Skinner. The fact that people like him, who's meeting with J.D. Vance and actually is being quite political, has been invited on Strictly Come Dancing, I think all of it paints the picture that we've gone past peak woke, that people feel much more comfortable, as they rightly should, speaking their views on immigration. And we've talked about it, the reaction from Newsnight, the news agents, BBC Verify, trying to shoot him down because they don't like what he claimed about specifics like iPads, or it wasn't a 4-star hotel, it was a 3.5-star hotel. It's irrelevant. They have lost the argument and the people are winning.
I just want to say... This country should and still is a country where there is free speech, and anybody... Sure, if you incite to violence, if you do the other, that's wrong, and you'll be punished for it. But free speech, absolutely essential. I didn't hear the thing, but from what I've heard from you guys, he was exercising his right to free speech.
Lovely stuff. OK. All right, guys, we're going to go quickly to this break because I want to leave a little bit of time for Greatest British Beauty and Jackass. One last round of audience participation for that, so you all get to choose. We'll see you in about, I don't know, 2 minutes.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Igniting that debate over controversial monuments in our public spaces.
Well, joining us now is historian and broadcaster Rafe Hedelman-Koo. Rafe, what do you make of this?
Well, the woke Taliban are back again. I thought we had seen the last of them after their insane conduct, after the Black Lives Matter madness. But I'm afraid this is par for the course. You know, Baroness Debonair is a poster child for this nihilistic, this destructive self-loathing that's sweeping the nation right now. And of course, she's symbolic too of the left's long march through the institutions. Here we have again a failed politician and woke ideologue who's now untouchable in the House of Lords and can preach this sort of anti-British ideology free from any consequences. Clive of India has been unfairly attacked and maligned in the past for a very long time. That doesn't mean he was perfect, and I'm not here to defend the excesses of the East India Company. Far from that. But we as a society, why is it that we as a society are no longer mature enough to understand that no person, no hero of ours is as pure as the driven snow? And if we erase people from the past, we are also erasing huge sections of our past too. This is a war on our history. When we walk through the streets, when we walk through the public square, we see monuments to the people who made Britain what it is today. Most of that will be good, some of that will be bad, but most of it will be good and sometimes also controversial at the same time. And it's just, this PC desire to delete our past, it's immature, it's undemocratic, and it's Philistine. And why stop at Clive's statue? Where does it end?
Why stop at that statue?
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, look, thank you very, very much, everybody. Let's get stuck straight into this. We're going to go greatest British Union Jackass, starting with Union Jackass. Christian Cowgate, who's yours?
Mine is the dual serving of the Pope and the Archbishop of York, two religious leaders who butted their nose in this month. The Pope came out in favour of the Chagos sellout, and the Archbishop of Canterbury said that reform's deportation policy is not who we are as a people. This is a man who twice reappointed a bishop who sexually assaulted a 16-year-old girl. I think both of them should keep their mouths shut.
OK? Yeah. So, we're off to a strong start. So, is there anyone else, any other religious leader you'd like to go after?
How long have you got?
Yeah. All right, Chris, it's your Union Jackass.
OK, well, for obvious reasons discussed because of the rank hypocrisy and because, remember, people, tax avoidance costs lives, it is Angela Rayner. I think that it's absolutely awful what she's done this week, and she should just not be presiding over these policies if she can't follow them herself.
OK. All right, go on then, Jane.
Well, they say the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It is Keir Starmer for just keeping going, smash the gangs. It's not working. No. Do something different.
Oh, OK. Go on, Barry.
I think Christo's going to like my jackass this week. The woke officials at British Cycling who censored the historic name of a Welsh village and simply put 5 asterisks in the race programme instead of the village's proper name, 3 Cocks.
Brilliant. I mean, yeah, I like it.
Your
right.
next holiday.
Let's go to a vote.
How many black holes have you got there?
Oh, Jesus.
The only way it could have got worse.
Let's wrap this up. Good God.
I'm glad we're live on tally now. OK, right, OK, so the Pope. Right, what about Angela Rayner? Starmer. We've got the perpetrator of the 3 cocks. All right, I'm going to go with Angela Rayner. There we go. Okay, right, now, we have got time for Greatest Britain, haven't we? So, who would you like to nominate? Christys, your Greatest Britain?
This is very rare. I'm going to nominate Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana for, honestly, for deciding to publicly consult on the name of their new party with a form that anyone can fill in. I highlighted this, and it gave us the wonderful suggestions, including Jezbollah, the Left Waffer, and Party McParty Face. And I think any of them are excellent options.
The Left Waffer. I've not heard of the Left Waffer before. It's a good one. All right, it's a good one. Right, go on, Christys.
OK, I believe it is the job of broadcasters to ask difficult questions and reflect what the public are thinking, and that is why I am nominating Rylan Clark.
Good stuff. OK, Rylan Clark's got a good showing there. Go on then, Jane, who would you go for?
We have a great British tradition of fantastic detectives. And this week we've had Sherlock Holmes, we've had Miss Marple. This week we found a new super sleuth in our fabulous colleague, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who went off to investigate. I think we've got a clip of his super sleuthing in action.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be very many people about. Hello. Is this an illegal migrant place?
It was
Brilliant.
wonderful.
Brilliant.
So I think he should have his own series, Super Sleuthing.
Yes. Yeah, but I love that. I just thought it was brilliant. One thing I will say about Jacob is he comes across like he sleeps in double-breasted pyjamas, doesn't he? But he doesn't take himself seriously.
No,
so
he's lovely.
It's really nice. Go on, Barry.
Mine's a serious one. It's Chris Bonington, who is the conqueror of Everest's southwest face, which was supposed to be unconquerable. He's aged 91. He's our greatest living climber. Wow. But now this week he's revealed that he's facing the biggest challenge of his life, and that is coping with dementia. Oh. And so I'm going to say that our greatest Britons are those that are coping with Alzheimer's and dementia, like Chris Bonington.
Oh, here. Absolutely. Okay, all right, let's have a little vote on this then.
Really sucked the wind out of Jeremy Corbyn.
Corbyn and Zara Sultana, quite mocking. Yeah. Go on, Christys.
Rylan.
Yeah.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yeah. OK, and Chris Bonington. We are probably going to give it to Chris Bonington, I think, there, and to Barry Gardner. Well done. Right, now we only have a minute left. I'm just going to do this. I do really appreciate absolutely everybody who comes to the show, so thank you very, very much. I know people travel far and wide, but I have just got a little nomination for my own version of Greatest Britain, if you don't mind. And there's a massive fan here who's always watching GB News, always watching. He watches GB News more than me, bless him. And his name's Ben, and he's on the front row here. I hope you don't mind, Ben, but it's not very much, but I'd just like to give you a little something from us here at GB News. GB News mug and a little notepad for you. There you go. All right. We just wanted to say thank you very much. All right? All right, mate. OK. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for coming, Ben, and for always being a big GB News fan. So there we go. All right, well, look, thank you very much, everybody. We've only got about 30 seconds left, so yes, just time to tell you as well. We obviously haven't done the newspapers yet, so we're going to do them in the next hour. I think a few of you are sticking around, aren't you? So we'll be doing that, I hope so. Anyway, otherwise it's me on my own. There we go. So, yeah, we're going to be with you through absolutely every single one of tomorrow's national newspaper front pages. The only thing that remains to be said is a big thank you to all of you. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again, a very good day to you. I'm here with your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Many of us will see a fair few more showers to come as we go through the rest of today, but then tomorrow there's a band of heavy rain that's going to sweep its way in. That's in association with a frontal system currently waiting out in the Atlantic. Before that though, it is a showery picture as we go through the rest of today. Yes, there'll be some sunny spells in between the showers, but some of the showers could be quite heavy, maybe even thundery. Then later on we're going to see the showers generally easing and clearing away, but some showers continuing across western coastal parts in particular. Other places, more central eastern areas, turning largely dry, some clear skies, but towns and cities not seeing temperatures dropping too low, most places holding up in double figures. So a fine start to the day tomorrow, not an especially fresh one either. But not everywhere is going to get off to a fine start. Still some showers across western parts of Scotland continuing through the night and into the morning. Further east, a drier, brighter picture here. Across much of Northern Ireland starting to turn cloudier before that rain pushes its way in later on. And then across much of England and Wales, yes, a few showers for western areas, central and eastern parts getting the day off to a bright, often sunny start. Then as we go through the day, the big talking point is a band of rain that's sweeping its way in from the west. It's going to gradually make its way in, and the rain is going to be pretty heavy on it. And with the heavy rain, watch out as there could be some strong winds. We're talking coastal gales in places, particularly towards the west and southwest. Obviously under the wind and rain, it's going to feel pretty unpleasant at times. Further east, temperatures still just about getting into the low 20s, but later on that wet and windy weather is going to push through, so a wet end to the day across many eastern parts tomorrow, turning drier, brighter towards the west. The unsettled theme continues through the rest of the weekend and into the beginning of next week, with some showers or longer spells of rain for many of us. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on